Is it potentially the biggest setup in the history of this country?
Potentially.
One of the greatest crimes against the American people.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
People have less trust of their government than ever before. People have less trust of the media, especially the news media, than ever before. What will the news media have to do to get their credibility back? How about start telling the truth instead of participating in cover-ups? Why not expose some cover-ups? Welcome to John Mike King as we take a look into some cover-ups. The biggest one, allegedly, is Liz Cheney.
Is it potentially the biggest setup in the history of this country?
Potentially.
One of the greatest crimes against the American people.
That's why it's so important to get the truth with this. That's what we're working for. And the cover-ups that happened after January 6th is what I'm really after as well.
That's Rep. Loudermilk on the cover-ups that happened after J6 by both Republicans like Liz Cheney and Democrats, of course, on that same panel, probably guys like Adam Schiff, etc. What they covered up is what we want to know. If it's true that it was covered up, then that would be the biggest cover-up in American history. But there is still one more cover-up to consider. First, we'll let them finish this up.
What about the Republicans involved in those cover-ups? I know it's hard for you to address those things. This is your own party, but this is the reality. I mean,
we're going to go where evidence leads.
No matter what.
No matter what.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yes.
Laura Logan, who's a great journalist, is going to hold up Loudermilk to follow the evidence where it leads. But there was another cover-up that's even bigger that the media wasn't allowed to cover. Tucker Carlson brings up Barack Obama in the biggest, darkest cover-up probably in our nation's history, because there's no way he would have won if this was ever exposed.
You know, in 2008, it became really clear that Barack Obama had been having sex with men and smoking crack.
That's in 2008. You guys put your head back in 2008 times. If the media covered this story up, and the only reason why I'm bringing this story up is, I'm not into gossip. I don't want to slander anyone. If someone didn't do something, I'm not saying they did. I'm looking at Matt Gaetz right now and how the media has declared him guilty of being with an underage prostitute. And so I just think it'd be fair game to bring up what the media would not cover. What people are going to hide behind is go, no, you don't understand. Matt Gaetz has a witness. That witness is in prison for lying against Matt Gaetz and other witnesses who they've accused of the same thing. Their witness, their most credible witness, has no proof.
Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
However, Barack Obama's witness went under oath and was, according to Tucker Carlson, seems to be telling the truth.
And a guy came forward, Larry Sinclair, and said, I'll sign an affidavit. And he did. I'll take a lie detector. And he did. I smoked crack with Barack Obama and had sex with him. Well, that was obviously true. Nobody reported it, not because they were squeamish about or drugs, but because the Obama campaign said anyone who reports on this gets no access to the Obama campaign.
So that's the deal. That's the cost of journalism. That's how you get journalism to do what you want. You threaten them with not having access to your campaign. You shut them out and say, we're done with you. You don't get any access.
The White House and the people around Joe Biden were absolutely adamant that suggesting anything, asking the question about whether he was in some physical, mental, or both decline was offensive. How could you? It's age shaming. And I think that impacted me at some level.
If you print this story, if you do your job. And that's the problem is, everyone has to have access to our public figures. You can't reward them for going along with your lies or with your agenda. And so I'll be curious, first of all, does Trump push journalists out of access, punishing them for telling lies about him or for asking him uncomfortable questions? No, because you see him on ABC, NBC, CBS all the time.
You know, we saw President Trump go into the lion's den, if you will, and voluntarily be there several months ago before the National Association of Black Journalists and sit down with an audience that was very hostile and very apparent that 4/5 of the journalists on that stage that day were hostile towards President Trump. And that's okay. He can take that. Let's see them give the same level of scrutiny to Kamala Harris.
I see him with hostile interviewers, so he's not cutting off access to them the way that Barack Obama did if they didn't go along and carry his water. I'm John Mike Keene.